I've been working on this project now for, if I go back too far, 5 years, but the company's been running for a couple of years. And this is, for me, incredibly exciting. And today, to be able to have the opportunity of explaining this to you is very exciting. And I'm putting it in the context that I was the first person to make a public cell phone call live on the BBC in the mid-80s. And at that time, it was an organisation called Cellnet, who then became O2, but it was basically British Telecom, and we did it from the Telecom Tower. The call didn't go through, incidentally, but I remember talking to the marketing director, and he said, we're envisaging there will be 25,000 business users of these phones. And just think about that, because it wasn't that long ago that we thought phones were only going to be used one way. We never ever thought we'd take photographs and video or whatever using a phone. And we are riding the crest, a wave of a technology revolution that has had all sorts of spin-offs. It's empowered consumers. The consumer is now absolutely king, and I'm sure all of you in this room will understand that we have to listen to consumers, because we are consumers and we're very impatient. Think of Amazon Prime, think of how quickly we're now expecting things to be delivered. But on the subject of radio, this is absolutely fascinating, and the chance to tell you about it is a truly exciting moment for me. And I'd like you to think about two things, both of which have largely gone unnoticed. Last year, we passed a milestone in that there are now more mobile phones, personal devices, tablets on the planet than people. Over 7 billion, and they are multiplying 5 times faster than us. So we have the devices. But the really interesting thing that very few people have latched onto, it was only a few years ago that free Wi-Fi hotspots were unusual. They weren't as common as they are today. Now, we could play a little game and I could ask for estimations of how many free Wi-Fi hotspots you think there are in the world, but I'll save you because we want to eat. There's 50 million at the moment. But by the end of next year, and this is not an analysis, this is not somebody in the city coming up with figures to boost the telco side of things. This is actual fact. By the end of 2017, there will be over 350 million free Wi-Fi hotspots in the world. That's one for every 20 people on the planet. So we have the devices, phones, pads, whatever you want to call them, and now we have the free connectivity, and that is going to accelerate internet radio. At the moment, internet radio is growing 20% year on year, but it is set, for the reasons I've said, to absolutely explode, because you will be able to get the information and entertainment you want almost anywhere on the planet. So think about a different style of radio and put it into the context of how ridiculous broadcasting is. Now, I was 30 years with an organisation where broadcasting was the second word in the title, but it is absolutely barking mad if you think about it. It's spray and pray. Why, when we've got consumers in control, would broadcasting appeal? You build a great big complex, BBC have got one down the road, and then you connect it to some aerials or a satellite dish, and you spray out your information and entertainment, and you pray that it sticks to someone. That's not smart in the age that we now have. This is the age not of broadcasting, it's genre casting, where you can very accurately give the consumer what they want. So broadcasting is changing. That's not my opinion. I mean, I believe it, but don't take my word for it. It's actually fact. You've only got to think about the challenges that ITV have got with their ad breaks. You've only got to think about your own behavior with time shifting. You know, whether you start watching Downton Abbey 15 minutes after it started so you can go through the ad breaks, people are turning against conventional advertising. And why are they doing that? Because it's actually madvertising. It is astonishingly daft. It's as daft as the original idea of broadcasting. So you've got a business you really care about. It might be a big business, it might be a small business, but boy oh boy you care about it. You put a lot of money into it. You might have mortgaged your home, maybe even had a couple of divorces because of this business you care about. You care about the integrity of it, you care about its brand values, and then you give this business to somebody who happens to own a radio station or a TV station, and you say, and you write a check, of course, and you say, right, there's my business, and now I'm going to hand it over to you, and hopefully you won't bolt a lot of other businesses around it that I don't agree with or don't like, and you hopefully get the result that you actually want at the end of the day. Advertising is dying as well. Just ask the people at the ad agencies. They are seriously worried about it. And then throw into the mix ad blockers. And there's a thing in the Times newspaper today about the fact the government are going to start to really look at the way in which editorial is being produced in blogs and things, because they think that that's a covert way of doing advertising. It's all changing, is what I'm saying, which is something I managed to spot a few years ago and my company anticipated. And what we are developing and launching is a whole family of internet radio stations. And we started last year. We have 15, and this is quite a well-kept secret because I believe with such a passion in this that I didn't want any hype. I didn't want anyone able to say, oh, it's Edmonds, you know, it's blobby and all of that nonsense. This is a business that is really well founded. We have the best equipment, we have the best streaming services. I managed to seduce Richard Wolff to come out of television. He used to run Sky 1, 2 and 3 and Channel 5, and he deals with all our content. And I have fabulous people working on this project. So we launched last year Positively Happy because all of our radio stations have no news. News is negative and you can get your news somewhere else. We don't have commercials, and I'll come on to that in just a moment, and they're free, and they'll always be free. We will never charge the consumer to listen to the station. We won't try subscription models or anything. Every single station will be news-free, commercial-free, and listen-free. That is our strapline. We launched one for Monaco. Why did I want to do that? Not to please Philip Green or anyone else who lives there, but because I want to roll out Dubai and Shanghai and countries like that. So we're doing cities as well as countries. We've launched Positively Bristol and Positively Bath. Next month we launch Positively Worcestershire, and that will have its entire membership already signed off before we launch it, which brings me on to what's membership. If you don't have commercials, how do you make any money? Well, actually, we've thrown away the advertising model, and when you join us and we turn your content into absolute gold dust, and in the genre casting you engage with the consumers 100%, you're actually a member of the radio station, and you get a certain number of informational spots in a 24-hour period. They amount to thousands a year, and you are in control of that messaging. This is not a commercial that runs for 15, 20 seconds. You are totally in control of your own content. So if you are a florist and you think you're the best at arranging whatever, and you think that the super new flower is or whatever, you tell us, and we can actually put that information out within 5 minutes. Now, if anyone here has ever tried to put an ad campaign together on independent local radio, you will know it takes 2 to 3 weeks minimum, and you have to go through all these processes, and people will keep saying, no, you can't say that, and you've got to do terms and conditions, and it's bollocks, we don't do any of that. We are Ofcom free, we are ASA independent. That doesn't mean we're irresponsible. It means that our members can get messaging out very quickly. For example, car dealer in Bristol, and he had a car he couldn't shift on the forecourt. I can't remember what the model was, but he gets onto the producer for Positively Bristol and says, I will knock £5,000 off that car for the first person to walk through the door with a £500 cheque for the Children's Hospice. You could not do that on conventional radio. Ofcom would prevent you doing that. But he immediately gets over the fact that he's helping the Children's Hospice, and he shifts a car that he couldn't shift. The girl Sarah from Specsavers in Bristol, terrible voice, but she records her own messages and says, hello, my name's Sarah. Come down to Specsavers in Broadmead and see me, and if you can't see me, by the time you go, you will. So you have to think about content in a totally different way. And we've had people say to us, oh, but my God, I don't know about content for my business and work. We'll find the content. Every business has stories, and stories have more impact than any advert or commercial. Stories stick with people. So I'm very, very keen to take any questions on this, because I could literally go on for ages. It's a passion with me because we are the only company in the world doing this. And I know that because one of our partners in this is Universal Music Group, arguably the most powerful music group in the world. And we're working with them to develop stations specific to individual artists, because they can see where this goes, that Lady Gaga would be able to offer her supporters, enthusiasts, fans, call them what you will, even more added value with Positively Gaga, and you will be able to get discounts and special offers through that radio station. I believe we will have over 200 Positivity radio stations within 2 to 3 years. I believe that we are going to change people's lives with a positive message. But I also think we are going to present for businesses with vision an incredible opportunity at very low cost. This is very affordable, to take their message directly to the consumers. You know, with Positively Wedding, what would we hope? Maybe to have 100,000 listeners in X period of time. At last, we can communicate with consumers in a manner that they instantly find attractive. Because if you go to Positively Wedding to listen to it, you want to take part. You want to be part of it. You want to influence the music that is on it. You want to actually win the competition. You want to tell your friends about it. It is going to be an incredibly sticky experience and a brilliant commercial opportunity.